happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, foster mothers, adopted mothers, aunts, grandmas, you know, and mothers, obviously, and all of them. Just happy Mother's Day for everybody. And animal mothers, like cat mothers, dog mothers, all the fur animals. I classified as me as a dog slash cat mom. So why do I think of being a pet mom or fur mom? I don't know. I know I can't have children because as I was growing up, my doctor did tell me like I wouldn't be able to hold a child, and to be honest, I personally don't want any kids. Nothing against kids or mothers that have kids or anybody that has kids. I just don't really want a child. Um, and I always thought maybe just animals like cats or dogs, or eventually if I got a horse or I don't know, chickens, those would be my children because I feel like these are our children. They're kind of not like children, but they are. Like you feed them, you give them water, you give them love, you give them exercise or play with them, and you just love them, you care for them. Uh, vet care, same with kids. You bring them to the doctors if they need it, brush them. You help your kids brush their hair, bathe them if they need to be bathed, stuff like that. So that's why I think of being a mother to these animals. Yeah, I'm also an owner, yes, but I just feel like these are my kids. They only get bow ties and or bandanas certain holidays or in the summer or spring when I want to do spring photo shoots, especially with her. He doesn't go outside. He's an indoor cat. Nothing against anybody who lets their cats outside. I prefer Angel inside because it's a little safer for him. And he's been an indoor cat his whole life. And sadly, I don't recommend this. And I'm going to talk about it. I know it's sad. But my family, because I was a kid, I didn't have any say in it. But my family got him declawed, only the front. So it's definitely would be not the best interest of him being outside. He would not be protected with those claws. I highly do not recommend. And I know if I were to ever get another cat, which I probably won't, but you never know if I lived on a farm, like out in the county with a big yard, I might get a cat that'd be outdoor, indoor. Now, I wouldn't really want cats outdoor, but if they're a barn cat and keeping the mice and rats away, then I would. And they would have their claws. So, and Bella, my sister's cats, has all four claws, which I'm grateful for that. Even though she likes to scratch my leg occasionally if I don't pay attention to her, but you know what? It's okay. But yeah, I highly don't recommend you do that. But yeah, he's an indoor cat and he stays indoors. I kind of wish he was an adventurous cat, but I should have done it when he was a kitten. I had a cat. Now, we had another kitten before Buddy, my other cat, and Buster, and Dusty, my other dog that passed away, that I rescued, that I talked about in the previous vlog. I think episode 1 was, or part 1 was when I talked about my dog, Dusty, and way before Remi. So, I had Angel, and this kitten just kept coming around, and it was a black and white kitten. He was so cute. He had a little black dot on his nose. He was just adorable, and he was a boy. Now the neighbor lady, she was an elderly lady, and she really loved the cat. She started feeding him and giving him water, and then she said, "Is this your cat?" We're like, "No," and she goes, "Okay, it's been sleeping on my chair, I don't mind it, but I'm trying to find it a home." We're like, "We'll take him." Now, he wouldn't stay indoors. This kitten was adventurous, and we tried our best taking good care of this kitten. So he was an indoor, outdoor. So he would come in at night and just sleep through the day and then come out during the day. So I was still a kid, and I was going to elementary school. So this cat was cute. I wish I filmed and took pictures back then because he was adorable. So my sister named him Johnny, and I would say Johnny Cash, because I just thought, his name is Johnny Cash. So his name was Johnny, and this cat was weird. I thought he was a dog. So every time we would cross the street to the bus stop, he would follow, and then he would play in this little bush, getting all the bugs and stuff. And when the bus would come, we'd say, Johnny, go home. And he'd ran back to across the street, and my mom would let him in occasionally during the day as well, if he would meow. So one afternoon, um, we got home, and Johnny really looked weird. We had the water dish and food dish outside as well. So I'm like, what is going on? He was falling. We didn't think of it anything. We're like, did you eat something? Um, Way before that, our neighbor grandson came by and said, "Is this your cat?" We're like, "Yeah, we decided to adopt him." "Well, keep him off my mom's chair. Blah blah blah. If you don't, sorry, why am I yelling? If you don't, there's gonna be consequences. We didn't think of it, right? So we kept trying to keep this cat inside. So, anywho, he was friends with Angel, and they kind of played inside. And Angel had gotten out once and got up the tree. And one of our other neighbors was like, "Oh, there's Patrick." I'm like, "That's not your cat. That is my cat, Angel." And then there's Johnny. They're both my cats, right? So, but anyways, the neighbor didn't end up taking it, but that was a different neighbor. Anyways, going back, so he went in the cat litter, and then he fell, and then he went on the couch, and then he fell backwards. I'm like, what's going on? And it was getting late too. We should have taken him to the vet. We just didn't, and it is our fault. We live and our learn. The next morning, he was okay. He was like meowing, but we left him in the house. And you know, it was sad. Sometimes I don't know why we did this, but we kind of locked the cats up in a little crate at night. We did, and then we stopped after Johnny. I don't know why we did this. Don't come for me. I'm sorry. We live and learn. But anyways, after school, or wait, no, was it in the morning? After school, my mom had put him back in the crate for a little bit, and he seemed fine a little bit. But then when we came home, because he was out of the crate, but he stayed indoors. But he went into the crate. We left it open or whatever. And I walked in the house. I'm like, "Where's Johnny?" And he had passed away in that crate. So we buried him. We aren't really supposed to bury cats in a rental yard, but we did bury him. The good neighbor, had the shovel and helped us. And it was sad. I think he was about 8 to 9 weeks old. When I guess you would say a rescue, like, because he was dumped. But the neighbor lady seemed like she didn't care, but her grandson really didn't like the cat. And then I decided to look at his dish, and there was liquid substance in the water dish. We believe that it was what would you call it? Car window washer, maybe? It was poison. The neighbor poisoned my cat. And then I made sure Angel would not sneak outside because he probably would have got poisoned too. So we live and I learn, and we do miss Johnny. He was a good cat. Like, I loved seeing him during the day, follow us to the bus stop and then go home, And then, what would be funny was when we came home, he would always be at the bus stop. It's like he knew, But that afternoon he was on the other side, like at home, instead of by the bush waiting for us to get home. So I do feel bad. Like, was it our fault? Maybe, but I don't know. It was sad that the neighbor poisoned Johnny, And I wanted to talk about that too, because as a dog or cat person or mother, fur mother, you live and learn. So I learned, like, to keep an eye on your animals and make sure they stay where they're meant to be, That's why he doesn't go outside, and we make sure she doesn't run away or sneak out. Even Vinny and Egypt as well. And Bella, the other cat. So, and Egypt and Vinny are my sister's dogs. But yeah, like, we're learning, we still learn. And I was still a kid when Johnny passed away, and I miss him a lot. You know, so yeah. I wanted to talk about that because, people that hurt animals, whether it's dogs, cats, horses, or like people that try to poison animals or beat them up or just starve them or lock them up in a cage 24/7, which we didn't do. It was just sad. It was sad. And, yeah, I just don't know why people do that or need to do that, you know? Like, why have animals if you're going to abuse them? But yeah, what else? I honestly, I had somebody tell us recently, well, not recently, probably 2 weeks ago now, to find a home for these two because of our emergency fund. Now I'm going back to that, but we're going to talk about that. You know, or not properly grooming, which I'm trying my best now, extra. Um, Here's the thing. If I were to find them a home, I would feel bad. They would feel bad, and they would cry, and they would not. They would be miserable in the new home, and they would probably eventually die of a heartbreak. Maybe they would have liked their new home, but they wouldn't. And someone said, "Oh, you got to do what's best for them, and what's best is finding them home." And I told this person, "I'm not doing that. And if you're mad because I'm gonna keep my animals, sorry, I will never get rid of them. You know, this guy's old, and this girl is 5 years old, and this guy is really old. Nobody's gonna want an old cat, and nobody's gonna want this dog. Remy, Remy, they're both sensitive, and they're right near me all the time. And I honestly think that this dog would not last in a new home, and either would this cat. So to that person, sorry, I am not getting rid of my pets. I'm their mother, and they need me. Now, when I was moving and trying to find a home, like finding houses that would allow pets, because we had Buster, Angel, and Remy, and I wanted to make sure we'd find a home. There was some that would be rented right away. There was some that really didn't want animals. This house, I was luckily that said, yeah, you can have animals, and we got it. Because like it was scary. To be, I didn't want to be homeless and or live in a hotel. You know, I didn't have family that would take them for like a week until we find a home, and I did not want to put them in a shelter, and I did not want to really live in a car or whatever. But if I had to live in the car, I would have done it. Dry throat, sorry. But I'm so grateful that we found this house, because I would have rather tried to live in a car or whatever with these guys and figure out stuff than get rid of them. That's just me. I know a lot of people don't have the option and they have to. That's just me. I try my best to figure out the positive things that I can do for them, whether it's food, shelter, love, grooming and other things, playing with them. I try my best for these dogs and cats, and I hope I'm doing a great job. I think I do. Remy actually needs to go to the bathroom. So shortly, Remy, I know you have to go potty. It's been a while, but we're doing a podcast here. Oh, she's so cute, guys. Can you see her? Yeah. Okay. But yeah, and I'm not judging if people have to find them a new home. Also, that person did say, because I'm voiceovering, I forgot to mention, that, oh, they would be happier probably in a new home, or like they don't really have feelings, they wouldn't really care. Well, I think they would care. Also, I did live in a trailer at my aunt's with one of my cats. His name was Sam. And I'll talk about that in another podcast. Stay tuned for part 2.